Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Phil Marshall here. Going to go over the assembly of the new Blaster Factory Bowcaster kit. As you can see, I've got everything laid out here like you would get it. These will, each little assembly will come in its own separate little bag to kind of help you keep some things straight. So you'll see that, but we'll go ahead and get started here. And I'm going to start from this barrel assembly here and work my way back. Okay, that's kind of the main part of it anyway. In a different video, I'm going to actually do the little control panel that's in the center here that has all the cool witch hat fender knobs and all the other Michelle turntable stuff and everything on it. It's a really cool setup too, but I'll do another video on that because there's a lot of screws to that one. So first thing we've got to do is there's some spring pins here that are going to be pressed into this block for the two knives. That's what I call them, the two knives. They kind of have a butter knife shape, and the front sight pivot. Okay, and you're going to need a ball peen hammer, and go find a nice hard flat surface, or even if you have a vise would be good. But even a good hard concrete outside in the garage, patio, whatever. Just do something that you're not scared to do a little hammering on, because these pins have to be drove in there. So okay, here we go. Okay guys, we're going to do this assembly right here. Okay, we call these the knives, and they're the same part, just flipped over. Notice how the curve on this one is on the top. On this one, on the other side, it's on the bottom. Okay, I've seen a lot of things in the groups where they think these pieces bend in, but it's not. They can't do that. Nothing else would scale to it. These are two straight pieces that are curved, and they're opposites. So let me show you how those go on. These parts are going to press in, and let's see here. We got two of them here, but let's talk about which way they orient too. Now, you're going to have, there's a little lip at the top of this, okay? So these holes are biased toward the bottom, and the front, okay, it's closer here, further back here. So that's the front, okay? That doesn't really matter right this second, but we can go ahead and drive these in. Now, if you have one of the first ones, first 10 or 20 that went out, these holes may be pretty tight. If they are, you may want to open them up a little bit with a drill, and you can glue them in. Or if you're pressing them in, clamp them securely, like in a vise, okay, like this, okay? Because if you start beating on them, you're going to collapse them right here, okay? So just be aware of that. And if you do have a problem with that, let me know. Okay? Get these in there. Okay, now, there again, let's get this thing oriented right. There's the front, so we're doing this side right here, okay? Now, when you grab one of these knives, you can't do it wrong, because you want this countersink on the outside, so you can't do it this way, okay? So you go ahead and you can line this up. Now, these spring pins are made to hold this on, so you're going to have to drop them on there. I'm just going flat down. Okay? Nope, I want to pull out of here, but that's what you want. Okay? You got the lip right here, just like here. Okay? Do the other side. Flat down. There again, pay attention to the countersink. Don't do it this way. They're opposite from each other. Okay? Now, let's hold that there. There we go. Now we got it. And if we've done this correctly, you can see in the actual picture here you got the right hole in it, you got a little split in it, and then the little countersink hole is for this flathead that we are going to install here in just a second. Little spacer in between here. That's often overlooked. You don't realize it's there. But they must have did that to give it some support, keep it from the spring pins coming apart or whatever, because there's going to be a little tension on the back. So, okay, let's go to the front section, okay? And we'll put the ears on up front. But back here, what I want to do is I want to get this pivot point that's right here. Everybody see that? There's a pivot point. And in a lot of pictures, it's hard to tell, but what that looks like, that's a dowel or some kind of little press-in piece there, because that's not a screw. So what we're going to do, that piece goes this way, and make sure you orient this right too. It's straight on the back, and you got to angle this way. Okay. And I'd push this in from the bottom. These get a little bit tight. There we go. Line that up. Okay. And now these are not spring pins. These are actual dowels. Okay. There's no hole in them. So get that lined up best you can, because you want it to go in straight. And that I didn't do straight. Okay. Back lined up here. Make sure you got it aligned. Well, keeps moving on me here. There we go. Okay, do that. First one's the hard one. This one will be aligned. So, and also on these little dowel pins, there's a tapered end. Might help you start it a little better. Okay. Okay. Now, move this forward, because when we go to put it on the front of the main body, you'll have that bolt in it. And also, you've got this stop, which you can see it right here in the picture. There's a little flathead screw right there, and that's what stops it, in the right position. So I go ahead and put that in there too. Okay, we got two. Oh, pins come out. There we go. There we go. Now that we've got these two parts, we've got the little drive pins and the dowels in that, we can go to the next thing here. And this is, I'll probably go ahead and mount this. Okay. What you're going to do, this is going to sandwich the bow in between this and the body. Now, notice the bottom of the bow's flat. You've got a radius on the top. So you'll make sure this is on the bottom when you do this, okay? And we're going to need a 3/16 Allen key. You can use your 1/4-20 socket head here. And it's already pre-drilled and tapped. You see that? Okay. Now, special note on the real Bowcaster, there is a strap that's on these bottom, which I don't sell. I don't have those. Maybe in the future, if there's any of you leather guys out here who want to attempt it, let me know, because I'm sure there's some of the builders would be interested in that. Let's see if I can hold on to this thing where you can see it. Okay, that bolts through there. 3/16 Allen key. And go ahead and sandwich these together. Got it straight. Okay. Can y'all see that? Okay. We'll do that. Then dose the little flathead here we talked about. Okay. I'll have to probably adjust that so it gets this piece at the right angle, so the barrel will go back correctly. So, okay, we've got that. We can adjust that here in a minute. Now, Set this where it don't move around. Don't need the 3/16 anymore. Okay, now the next thing is the barrel, and it slides through here. On one side, you got some drilled and tapped holes that are going to be used when we hook the ears on. So make sure you put it this way. I can just sit there for a minute. Okay, now we'll go back to the other part we pressed together, the knobs. It's going to set this way, curvature, okay, on the bottom. Barrel's going to go in like this, okay. Now what we've got to do before we mount this is we need to install the Horton sight. This actually came on the original Horton bow, and I had this. This is a stamped metal piece. It is as close to identical as I could possibly have it done, the way that they made the original one. So I know Mr. Horton's out there watching. This may not be absolutely perfect, but this was an ingenious little design to hold that single point scope. So let me show you what you got to do to mount this, because it's going to come assembled, okay? Flathead screwdriver. Let's go ahead and take the side screw out. Reason for this, there's a screw you got to put in here that's kind of buried in there that you can't put in from the top. It's a 1032. You're gonna put one here and one here, and they're gonna correlate with these two 1032 tapped holes, which are pre-done for you. You don't have to do anything. And then on the bottom, the little sight adjuster piece, and that is a 9/64 Allen key. What did I do with you? Oh, here you are. Okay. Go ahead and take that out. Okay. And then take this piece off. Okay. Keep all this together. Come back here. Okay. Got two 1032 screws. They got a little bit of thread locker on there too, so they don't back out. But go ahead and drop that in there. Don't do anything else with it. That's all you got to do for now. Okay. Now we need to reinstall this. Get this back on top here, and probably gonna put the side screw back in here so they don't fall apart when I'm trying to get the bottom in. There we go. Okay. Now, here we go. Let's get this screwed back in here. This will control elevation on the real sight, which you're not going to have to deal with that a whole lot. Just make sure it's kind of flat here. And I may have gone a little too far with it. Back that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Yeah, eyeball that so it's kind of parallel to the bottom, and lock the wheel down so it'll kind of keep that steady. Then you finish tightening this, because you don't want that to rattle. Keep that as tight as possible. Okay, now you see you've got the screw we installed here, and got it aligned here. There we go. Okay. 1/8" Allen key, and I see you got an access hole here, and go ahead and put that in the second hole. Don't tighten it down yet, get the other one in there. And you'll see that. Okay. Make sure it's kind of lined up. Now, I highly suggest, I would probably suggest painting this stuff before you do this, just so you get underneath it, but then you can go ahead and hit it an outside paint job when you get done. And then once you do, tighten these up pretty good, because you definitely don't want to build the whole thing, get it painted, get your scopes on here, and then this be loose or come loose. That's going to be annoying. Okay, there you got that part. Okay, now let's see what I want to do here. I can do the front or I can do the back. I guess Oh, since I'm back here, I'll go ahead and do this. Okay, there again, let's go ahead and put this on here. And I'll tell you what, this is a piece that's often overlooked because you can't see it real easily unless you look very close. Right here, you can see the screw right here, and then you see a little bar across there. Okay, must have did that to stabilize it. A 5/64 Allen key. Go ahead and put the spacer in between here. We'll go ahead and lock that down. Okay. Okay. Next, go ahead and slide the barrel in there. And we want to go ahead and attach it to the back here. And we'll go ahead and refer back to this again. Hard to see probably from where you're looking, but you can see a little nut there and the washer. And a little bit clearer on this one. This is the other side where you can actually see a little cross there. That's actually a little Phillips head. So we've got that and a washer. And I don't know if these are actually on here, but I made some little spacers so that this thing would be not flopping around. It'd kind of secure it a little bit more. So we'll go ahead and start that. There we go. And this is going to slide right under this piece here and in front of the wheel. So it's kind of tricky. You got to fish it through there because it's obviously not made to do that. And then get the spacer on this side. Spread it apart a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Washer over here. Put our washer here. And got that. Screw that on. And we need a Phillips head screwdriver, and we'll do that and cinch those together. Wow, boy, that tightened it up nice. Oh, our scopes will be flopping around everywhere. Okay, beautiful. And looks like I'm pretty good on the bow angle here because it's kind of, if you notice the angle it's got here, well, it just so happens that we have the same angle here, so we're working out good. Okay, now let's do the fun part here. Okay, fun part, side ears. Okay, got these guys here bent up, got the two countersunk holes here for the flat heads, which in the picture here you can see two little, they look like they're flush, so we'll assume they're flat heads. Little hole in the center, which would make sense to a Allen key little screw here. So this is a 440 screw and requires this is a 1/16 inch Allen key. So I'll go ahead and get that set up there. And the clamp goes this way. There's a clearance hole on the bottom for the screw to go through, and then a threaded one on top that keeps the ear lined up. And on the barrel, we've got the same thing here. We've got a 440 tapped hole. So what we need to do is slide this on here, hopefully keep it in alignment to where we can get this on here without it moving around too much. There we go. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Now we want to do the one at the top here that keeps it in alignment. Okay. Get this one started. And then we're going to repeat process on the other side. Okay. There's that. Okay. went in a lot easier on this side without everything wanting to slide around on you. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Look at that. Something look like something now. Okay. Now, on the original one here, I don't see any kind of mounting screws or anything to keep the barrel in back here, so I'm going to assume they probably glued this back here. So next thing you probably want to do that is go ahead and glue that in position whenever you're ready, and that will hold that there. Wonderful. Okay, now next, at least on the main part of the bow here, get out of the way. I might pull this out just because we're not going to glue that immediately. Set that aside. Next thing we want to do is the trigger. Okay, everybody see this? Okay, in the back there's a hole and there's a magnet. That magnet goes in the hole, and you're going to want to super glue that in. Okay, I'll go ahead and do that, otherwise this thing won't function. And there was really not an easy way of putting a conventional spring in there, so it happened to work out the way this thing operates. We've got these three, well, that's set like that. We've got these three spring pins, okay? And having the real Horton in my hands when we scanned it, you know, from the sides of the prop, you always see those three holes right there, and that's actually was on the real bow. You know, that's part of the trigger mechanism. So, you know, we went ahead and copied that. Okay. So on the trigger, the magnet. You slide this in the bottom, or you could do it from the top too. Just do it before you do this assembly, and we'll make sure this does not get in a bind when you're putting it through there. Okay, keep that where it moves. And this one, okay,